And we'll now move to 5-minute questions under the 5-minute rule, I should say. And the gentleman from California, Mr. Issa, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Taibbi, Mr. Aaron went on for 5 minutes, and the feel and the fact was he said multiple times that if you're a billionaire, you're not qualified to do what has made you a billionaire. If you're a billionaire, you're corrupt. Now, he was particularly assaulting Elon Musk. Let me just go through a couple of quick questions. One, Elon Musk, would you say that he's best known as rich or successful?
Probably both, depends on who you ask.
Did he in fact reinvent launch so that we went from the inefficiency where we were paying the Russians to basically put our people in space to today, 92+% of all launches in the world are SpaceX, and they're done for a fraction of the cost?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay,
yeah.
so you're a journalist, not an employer per se, but if you were going to employ somebody to take cost out of something, would you find someone that reinvented financial transactions, then went on to reinvent space launch, then went on to reinvent the automobile, and did all of those successfully before he was my age? Okay, now, as a journalist, you do look at who in government does what, and you've done it globally, but particularly you're an expert in the US. How many elected officials look at tax returns or government documents directly? How many elected officials do that for the United States government?
I don't know. I would like to know.
Well, officially the number is 0.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's 100% done by career bureaucrats. Mm-hmm. In fact, nobody elected does the basic work of searching databases and doing that. It just isn't part of the system. The reality is that almost all of the dives are either done by career people or people like Deloitte or PricewaterhouseCoopers. The fact is, looking for government inefficiency, we have spent billions of dollars inefficiently looking for government inefficiency for decades. Isn't that true?
Yeah, I did a story on the failed audit of the DOD that concluded, yeah, we had spent a ton of money on those audits to no effect.
Right. So we've paid outside auditors, including some of the world's best, and they've basically thrown in the towel as far as actually making a permanent change. So when the president has a group of individuals go in with career people in the room and look for it, and they find it, is that a reason to go, nah, 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 he's a billionaire, rather than, nah, nah, this is a disruptor of industries that has proven he can take massive amounts of cost out of doing things, and as a result, the United States of America would benefit by its money going further?
Representative, I said that some of this falls outside my area of expertise.
Well, it falls outside Aaron's too, so that's why I'm bringing the point to you. Let me go on to something that is in your expertise. Mm-hmm. As a journalist, if you took the many words and phonemes of a half-hour, an hour interview and cut and pasted them to create a completely different set of answers to questions, what would you be doing?
Yeah, that would be typically that's a kind of deceptive editing. I think that was the issue in the 60 Minutes case.
Well, wouldn't you call it outright fraud if a person says X and you print Y? Wouldn't you be sued for it if you maliciously and deliberately change the outcome in order to affect an election potentially on behalf of a candidate?
It kind of depends on the situation, but I think most news organizations would be embarrassed to be caught doing that kind of thing.
And wasn't 60 Minutes and CBS embarrassed when they got caught?
Well, they settled in the case apparently, so I think that speaks to that, yes.
So in other words, they were embarrassed?
It would seem that way from the outside.
Well, I'm glad you're here today, and I just want to note for the record and ask it to be placed in the record. Last week, we put another piece of legislation in with Rep. Salazar, Baumgardner, and Gill that in fact specifically is it provides for foreign government officials who engage in censorship of American speech to be inadmissible or deported. And I look forward to that going through the committee on a bipartisan basis.
Gentleman yields
And I yield back.
Gentleman yields